Hi guys, how's it going? In today's video, we're going to examine what are the options facing the EU as opposed to what are the options facing the UK. But in order to have an objective view, rather than look at it with an anti-Brexit, anti-UK, pro-Remain or pro-EU hat on, you know, this particular ugly mug anyway, I think we all need to be a little bit pragmatic. So let's go.
Good Lord, didn't anybody here subscribe?
Now guys, can I remind you that the subscribe, the notification and the like icons are extremely important. It really has a huge impact in getting the message out there across the YouTube platform. So on the count of 1, 2, 3, please hit that like and notification icon. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Okay, let's go. Now, apart from the Patterson affair and COP, there is a little issue on the withdrawal agreement trundling along, which appears at least to have picked up some pace, because out from the woodwork have come the advocates of a WTO Brexit, such as Farage and his former buddy, Martin Dobney, who sat with him as an MEP.
It sees itself as a form of a church, the sole saviour of Europe. And of course, anybody who leaves the church must be excommunicated, tarred and feathered. It was abundantly clear during the Brexit negotiations, they didn't just want to get us out, they wanted to kick us out and punish us on the way down. The Brexit we got, particularly on fishing, and that's why this fault line is coming, and Northern Ireland, those two areas are the two betrayals of Brexit, and it allows Macron talking tough against Britain is incredibly popular with the French voters. Brexit were the first, we were the first up the ladder, but the whole house of cards will fall.
Now, so there is little surprise in what this guy is saying. And if you were surprised, then you must have been living in a cave. However, I think it's really worth mentioning here that this bloke's political survival depends entirely on Brexit, because they really don't have any other policy. So long as he can maintain Brexit as an issue that should be front and centre of people's thought processes, the longer his relevance to the British politics can be maintained and to the people. Now, the common theme that has started to circulate again with increasing velocity over the last number of days has been about the French fishing boats and the role of the ECJ dictating Northern Ireland legislation. Now, I want to be clear on this once and for all, okay? It is Westminster that dictates tax policies and every other policies to do with wealth creation and wealth capturing and wealth distribution. It has absolutely nothing to do with the Northern Ireland Assembly. Nothing to do with the ECJ. 1, it is Westminster that dictates customs duties. 2, it's Westminster that dictates what border checks should be carried out. It has nothing whatever to do with the Northern Ireland Assembly. 3, the North of Ireland cannot have any bearing on any policy that creates any revenue other than local council rates. 4, it does not dictate or even get a sniff at corporation tax. 5, it does not create or get a sniff at national health insurance rates, the tax on that. 6, it does not create nor even get a sniff of probate tax of its own citizens. And neither does the ECJ or the EU. Any decision taken in Belfast can be overturned by Westminster. If they decided to be in the best interest of Great Britain, then that's what's going to happen, as we saw in Brexit. 7, only Westminster can invoke conscription. Only Westminster can issue instructions to the army. So guys, the Northern Ireland Assembly is not under Brussels, it's under Westminster, okay? Now, we come to look at this goddamn fishing issue again. But before we do that, I think we should have a look at what it is that's at stake here. I think we really need to understand how important it is to share this video. For the past 5 or 6 years, we've heard much from Westminster about how crafty the Irish politicians have been. And this is true. But what is often ignored, actually what is always ignored, is that it is the Republic's loyalty to the people of Northern Ireland and her allegiance to uphold the Good Friday Agreement that has encouraged the EU to give the UK as much as is economically possible. That being said, despite everything that this bunch of numpty dimwits should have learned over the last 5 years, Westminster still thinks it can play silly beggars with the people of the north of Ireland. Well, newsflash, it can't, nor can it do it with the fishermen. By the way, in an academic survey, and shouts out to Chatty Rat on here, thank you Chatty on this one, in an academic survey, not political survey, conducted just released by Liverpool University, the obvious findings of the previous academic survey carried out by Queen's University Belfast has been confirmed. Okay? And it's simple. There is cross-community majority support for the protocol. There is significant cross-community support for the steps taken by the EU to ease trading relations. However, there has been a significant shift since Friday of last week that the UK need to take very seriously. Okay? So, now, though you would be forgiven to guess that this change would have come from the French, and you would, unsurprisingly, however, be correct in normal cases, but this development is not from the French. It's from the UK's last remaining ally, the Irish. Now, I have no doubt that Johnson's much publicised final virtual meeting with the Poles was meant to send a clear message to the EU that, you know, we have the power to show solidarity with whomever we want to. And you can be sure, as the Pope is Catholic, it was received in exactly that vein. But, yet again, Westminster and the numpty Umpa Lumpa Frost seem to think that rubbing your biggest trading partner's nose in it was a smart thing to do. Well, you know what? It wasn't a smart move. In fact, it was a stupid move. It's always a stupid move and will always be considered as a childish, schoolyard, drunken, fat party, dumbass move to piss off somebody with a bigger gun, which, by the way, would have also set back much of the groundwork the very EU negotiators would have been doing, okay? They would have been laying out their groundwork for months in order for them to get a deal across the line with their own MEPs. You don't believe me? Well, listen carefully to these clips to see if you can hear any signs of reconciliation in the air. We have, for the first time, an accusation levelled by Simon Coveney directly at the feet of the UK, but also, and most importantly, repeated and supported 100% by the EU Commissioner Maireid Mc Guinness, who we will hear from first. Please remember that she's the commissioner responsible for financial regulations and protocols and getting as much EU business out of London as possible. Okay? What we'll also hear for the first time is something else that this channel has said many times over, and that is the title of the last official public correspondence the UK had with the EU, which this channel highlighted as being extremely arrogant and was also very, very deliberate.
What does that mean? What would the likely response of the European Commission be to a move like that?
I think, first of all, his response was based on the statement of Lord Frost as he went into the negotiating room, and they spent 3 hours together, and yet very little progress was made. So it's a sense not just of frustration, but a realisation, as Minister Coveney has just said, that you're not dealing with somebody who's acting in good faith. I think, with Simon Coveney, Minister Coveney said there, the command paper that the UK sent to Europe was in that frame of a command, and we don't deal that way. We negotiate. The European Commission negotiates on behalf of the member states.
Now, I can assure you that interview got a lot more direct as it went on. Basically, those points were just the openers for 10, as there were a lot more bonus points on offer later in that interview. And I've left a link in the description. Now, next we're going to hear from Coveney himself. Now, many of you may not know this guy's name, let alone anything else. So let me help you out. This is in my honest opinion, one of the top 5 smartest politicians that I've ever come across, and I've come across a few. This is the guy the UK wants in its corner. This is the guy the UK wants to help smooth out the relationships with the US. This is the guy that made sure that the US were fully aware of the importance of holding Biden's first international live and televised virtual meeting to be with the Irish Prime Minister in order to support the Irish position on the GFA, okay? And to support the Democratic position in the House of Representatives, okay? By the way, this is definitely not the guy you want to see in the opposite corner, and Coveney was in the UK's corner, but he sure ain't there now. So let's take a listen.
Today, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Simon Coveney, said it appeared that the UK was deliberately asking for what they know they can't get, and were laying the foundations to trigger Article 16, which allows part of the protocol to be unilaterally suspended. This, he said, would be bad faith and would have consequences.
The trade and cooperation agreement that was agreed between the British government and the EU was contingent on the implementation of the withdrawal agreement, which includes the protocol. One is contingent on the other, and so if one is being set aside, there is a danger that the other will also be set aside by the EU.
Now, all that we can hope is that the level heads prevail, and that Westminster finally starts to put the people of Northern Ireland before its cronies' business interests. And also, of course, that it puts the well-being of the people of the UK front and centre of every policy they undertake. Because right now, as I see it, this government doesn't have a plan. This government does not have the competency to deliver an effective administrative body politic that the UK so desperately needs. Thanks for watching, guys. See you on the flip side. You all take care. Bye-bye.